I'm pretty sure that you hate not having enough battery life, right? So in today's video, I'm gonna share with you a few settings that you can change to save battery life on your iPhone. But before I get started, don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of content and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Okay, so starting off, if you own the iPhone 14 Pro or Pro Max, I highly recommend you change a few settings for the always on display feature. So let's go to Settings, tap on Display and Brightness, and right here, Always on Display, make sure you choose if you really want to show your wallpaper while the Always on Display is on, and if you want to show notifications or not. If you like the feature, but you just want to save a little bit more battery life, you can always leave Always on Display on, but disable to show wallpaper and notifications. This way, your display will be showing the time and the widgets, but you won't have your wallpaper and notifications, which will, of course, use more battery. And of course, if by any chance you don't really like this feature, you can disable the Always on Display altogether and save even more. I do like the Always on Display feature, so I will leave it on, and I also like to check my wallpaper and notifications. Now let's go back, and now we're gonna go to Cellular. Here, make sure you tap on Cellular Data Options, Voice and Data, and I highly recommend you choose 5G Auto or 4G right here. What happens is that 5G drains your battery a lot faster, and when there's not a good signal, for example, your iPhone will use more power to try to stay connected, and we still don't have good 5G coverage. So I highly recommend you leave it on 5G Auto or 4G. And as you can see right here, 5G Auto uses 5G only when it will not significantly reduce battery life. So great feature. Now, just like we don't enjoy wasting battery life, we don't really like overpaying for anything, right? So here I have a great tip for you to save money. Switch to Mint Mobile, who I'm partnering with for today's video, and stop overpaying for data you don't use. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for as low as $15 a month. And one of the coolest things is that you can choose the exact amount that is right for you. First, you choose between 4, 10, 15 gigabytes or unlimited data each month. And then at the end of every month, they send you an email telling you what was your data usage. This way, you can choose your plan accordingly and save even more money. Also, switching to Mint is super easy. You can do everything online, and all of their plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, fast 5G, and free mobile hotspot. If you need, they also offer a modern family plan that allows you to set up an affordable family plan with as little as 2 lines. My husband and I, for example, used to pay $60 each for our previous unlimited plan. With Mint, I can save a lot of money. If you're interested, make sure to use my link to get premium wireless starting at $15 a month at mintmobile.com/marinatech. The link is listed down below in the description. Now, there is a new setting called keyboard feedback on iOS 16. I really like this feature. I feel like it's very satisfying to type with the haptic feedback on. However, it will drain battery. So if you don't really like this feature, or if you simply don't care, I highly recommend that you leave it disabled. So make sure you go to Settings, tap on Sound and Haptics, then tap on Keyboard Feedback, and here you can choose Sound and Haptic. You can disable both of these, or you can leave the sound on and disable haptic. Again, I do like this feature, so I will leave it on, but it will drain more battery life, so be aware of that. Now, make sure you go to Settings, General, and tap on Background App Refresh. Here, I highly recommend you tap on Background App Refresh again and choose Wi-Fi only. You don't need to have applications that you're not currently using refreshing in the background using your cellular data, because cellular data uses more battery than Wi-Fi. So I highly recommend you change to Wi-Fi only. Now, there is a setting that Apple highly suggests you leave it on, and this is auto brightness. Again, I go against everything because I don't really like the auto brightness feature. I like to set the brightness to however much I want at the moment. So I leave this disabled, but the auto brightness feature, when enabled, will save your battery. So if you want to save battery this way, make sure to enable it. So let's go to settings, accessibility, now display and text size, and down here, auto brightness. Make sure to enable it. There's even an explanation right here. Turning off auto brightness may affect battery life and long-term display performance. So Apple suggests you to turn it on. Again, I'll leave it off, but this will save you battery life. Now, still here in accessibility, go back and tap on motion. This first feature right here, reduce motion, does not make a huge difference, but it saves a little bit of battery life. So if by any chance your iPhone doesn't have great battery life, you can enable this to save a little bit more. But what this does is it reduces the motion of the user interface, including the parallax effect of icons. So it will reduce the effects when opening an application, for example. So you can choose if you want to enable this or not, but it will save battery life. Now, there's a setting that not many people talk about, and it's really good, and it's called Siri Pause Time. I'll show you what it is right now. So let's go back to accessibility, and let's open Siri. Here, Siri Pause Time, you can choose default, longer, or longest. And this is pretty much how long Siri waits for you to finish speaking. So if sometimes you feel like you need to speak really fast and you cannot really pause when talking to Siri because she'll try to do something, here is where you change this. So I like to leave it on longer, but if you want, you can even choose longest, and Siri will wait for you even longer. Now we're going to move on to App Store settings. So let's go back to settings, then choose App Store. And right here, I highly recommend you change one setting for video autoplay. So tap on video autoplay, and I highly suggest you choose Wi-Fi only. You don't want video autoplay to be on while using your cellular data because it will drain more battery life. And as you can see right here, autoplay will temporarily turn off if you have low battery or slow internet connection, but Wi-Fi only is even better. And same thing for automatic download. So let's go back, and right here I highly recommend you disable automatic downloads. And here I even have this set to ask if over 200 megabytes. So it will only allow apps under 200 megabytes to download automatically using cellular data. And of course, we're talking about battery. And on iOS 16, we have the new iOS indicator. So you can see the exact percentage of battery that you still have left. And if you want to enable this, only go to settings, tap on battery, and right here, enable battery percentage. I am currently running low on battery. Everything that's less than 50%, I think it's running low. It is not, I would say, but I will be charging my phone right after recording this. So make sure to enable battery percentage if you like to see the exact amount of battery that you have left. Okay, now we're gonna move on to photos. So let's go back and look for photos. Tap on photos right here. And here you're gonna look for cellular data right here. Tap on cellular data. And here, I highly recommend you turn this off. As you can see, turn off cellular data to restrict updates to Wi-Fi, including shared albums and iCloud photos. So if by any chance you have a shared album with a friend, family member, and if you upload photos to iCloud, this will only happen while you are on Wi-Fi. I don't think you really need to have these uploaded while on cellular data. If you do, of course, leave this enabled, but if you don't, which is the majority of us, make sure to disable and save battery. And now we're gonna move on to privacy settings. You will see that there are a lot of things that you can disable there. So make sure to pay attention to this portion of the video because it is a lot of things. But I highly recommend you pick up your iPhone and start disabling things with me. So first, privacy. Make sure to open privacy and security, and we're gonna tap right here on location services. This is one of the settings that use most battery life, but you do not want to turn it off altogether because there are things here that need your location in order to work. For example, if you use a GPS application, the GPS needs your location. So if you turn these off, the location services will not work, period. So you don't want to do this. But there are a lot of things that you can disable. First of all, make sure you check this full list, and the word that you need to be aware of is always, and then you will need to change these settings accordingly. So here, pretty much you're choosing which applications have access to your location and when they have access to your location. So I currently don't have any application that have access to my location all the time. So as you can see, none of these show always. But if you do, make sure to change it unless it is an application that really needs your location all the time. So I highly recommend you open the applications that have a setting here that you don't really like. For example, let's choose an application, McDonald's. I have it set to never because McDonald's don't really need my location. If by any chance I decide to order on McDonald's and I want to check which location is the closest to where I'm at, then I can enable it. But overall, it doesn't need my location. So I chose never. The one that I use the most is while using the app, because if I'm using the app and the application needs my location, it will work that way. If it doesn't, it will not look up for my location. So as you can see, the majority of mine are set to while using. So make sure to check all of the applications and change the settings accordingly. Next, we're gonna go to system services. So right here, go down and tap on system services. Also, something really important for you to know. Here you have an explanation about the arrows. So a purple arrow indicates that an item has recently used your location. As you can see, system services, there's something inside that recently used my location. And the gray arrow indicates that an item has used your location in the last 24 hours. So weather has used my location in the last 24 hours, Siri, Instagram, Find My, camera, and that's it. And probably something else inside system services. Share my location, satellite connection, and cell network search. So right here, as you can see, there are a lot of settings. You will turn pretty much everything off, but compass calibration, you'll leave it on. This is important for you to see which direction you should go in maps, any GPS application, for example. So you will leave this on, but you can disable Apple Pay merchant identification and you can disable cell network search. And don't worry, you will still have service. This is not going to do anything to your cell service. We're going to disable device management, but leave emergency calls and SOS enabled. Pretty sure you know why. Find My iPhone, always leave this enabled. You don't want anything to happen to your iPhone and then you're not able to look for its location. Always enabled. HomeKit, you can disable unless you use any HomeKit settings, accessories, and all of that. Location-based alerts, you can disable. You can disable this. Motion calibration and distance, you want to leave it enabled. Same thing for networking and wireless. Satellite connection, you can disable unless you really need to use this. Setting time zone, you can disable, and if by any chance you are traveling, then you can enable this. But you don't really need your iPhone to be constantly looking for this. Share my location, you can leave it enabled. System customization, you can disable. And down here, you can disable all of this. So you can disable iPhone analytics, routing and traffic, and improve maps you can disable as well. As you can see down here, this will allow Apple to use your frequent location information to improve maps. This will drain more battery life. So of course, if you want to help Apple improve maps, you can leave it on, but you will lose a little bit of battery life. So you can choose. And last but not least, make sure to tap on significant locations. This will ask for your Face ID. And here, as you can see, with significant locations enabled, it allows your iPhone and iCloud connected devices to learn places significant to you in order to provide useful location-related information in maps, calendar, photos, and more. Significant locations are end-to-end encrypted and cannot be read by Apple. So I wouldn't really worry about privacy here, but your iPhone is constantly looking for your location. So if you had this on for a while, you will have a list of recent locations. I highly recommend you turn it off. As you can see, I have 50 records right here from January 12th to March 5th. So I have a lot of locations saved right here. So I highly recommend you disable it. And these are a few settings that you can change on your iPhone to save battery life. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.